Okay, hands up. Who didn't realise that was Andy Serkis? Hello there, people of YouTube, and welcome to the Spikehead podcast for, yes, a movie review. Finally, I'm getting back into it, where today I am going to be talking about Long Shot, directed by Jonathan Levine and starring Charlize Theron, Seth Rogen, Bob Odenkirk, and Andy Serkis, as mentioned in my intro. And this film is about a babysitter who grew up to be the Secretary of State and now a presidential candidate, and her journalist, ironically being the guy she used to babysit, Seth Rogen. He's got a name in the film, but let's be fair, he's just Seth Rogen. Now, this is a film that I was intrigued to see. It's obviously a comedy, but Charlize Theron, we don't see her in many comedies, and this film, I will say, was pleasantly surprising. So, straight in there, let's get into some positives here. For first thing is Seth Rogen and Charlize Theron. Their chemistry in this film is brilliant. Whether it's a high-octane comedy section involving Molly, or whether it's a deep, heartfelt, serious conversation about the relationship, their chemistry just works in this film, and I was very surprised by how well these two work together. This film also had a very nice way of playing with a cliche. Generally with films like this, there's always the cliche of, you're too famous to go out with this average Joe looking dude. That is a common trope in these sorts of films, and they do try and touch on that a little bit, but every time someone brings up that cliche, Charlize Theron's character is just shooting this character down. And the banter between all the main cast is brilliant. Between Seth Rogen and his friend, between Charlize and Seth Rogen, as I've already mentioned, even Seth Rogen and the security guard, and Charlize Theron and her assistant. These are very good connections, as these dynamics and dialogue exchanges between these characters is brilliant. I will say as well, there are some fantastic scenes with Charlize Theron. There is a very strong comedic performance in this, but it also has a lot of great serious moments in it, and even serious moments that are, let's say, funny, but also serious at the exact same time. And I do love how this film does call out some very aggressive standpoints. It shows that everyone's allowed to have different beliefs, and it also shows that some people are so stuck on their side of the ladder. This great scene between Seth Rogen and Osei Jackson Jr. is absolutely brilliant. Just when, I'm not going to really get into the spoiler of that scene, but it's literally a case of they're best friends, yet one is judging the other for having these beliefs that are different to them, even though they're the exact same person as they were 5 minutes ago. It's a really good scene and really fantastic. Another highlight scene as well is a negotiating scene with Charlize Theron. Fantastic scene altogether there. I would say the romance was probably one of the better ones I've seen in the last few years in cinema. It very much reminded me of the American style Notting Hill, where Colin Firth's character, I think it was Colin Firth, or was it Hugh Grant? It was one of the two, but they were going out of a movie star, and he was just a basic librarian character, and the whole plot was very similar to this. This one goes above and beyond that and focuses on things like morals, and that worked very well indeed. That's not to say that this film does come without its negatives though. For one thing, there is some humour in this that is just really gross out and shock comedy, which can be good in a way, but unfortunately that does fall flat at times. There is also, for a comedy, while there are some brilliant scenes of comedy in this, it didn't have my side spling. It's no airplane or planes, trains and automobiles. It's not one of those comedies that is making me die of laughter consistently. If anything, I love the more serious and emotional moments way more than I like the comedy in this, because the comedy didn't always hit in this film. As much as I love Seth Rogen and his comedy, it's pretty much the exact same jokes over and over and over again. Mind, it probably has the best Jewish Seth Rogen joke I've ever seen in a film, but even so, Seth's got to come up with more material that's not, I am a stoner, I am also Jewish. So that seems to be two of his big bits of comedy. I just want to see Seth Rogen in a film where he plays it really serious. And unfortunately, this film wasn't quite it for him. He did have some serious scenes in it. I feel like he's testing the water of serious acting. But I will say as well, he has kind of outperformed my Charlize Theron in these scenes. Also, I will say this, the conflict felt too wishy-washy towards the end. There's like a third act conflict that was easily resolved, and it feels like it was just in there to be in there for conflict purposes. Yeah, some films have that anyway, but from the standpoint these two characters are taking at that point, and how one wants to give it up, then the other one's like, oh, actually, you were right the whole time, does feel a bit cheap towards the end, I'm afraid. But not a whole lot of negatives I will say about this film, apart from it did lack some comedy, and some of the comedy was unoriginal. Other than that, for the most part, this film was really, really entertaining and very heartfelt and very fun to watch. In terms of performances, Bob Odenkirk is a lot of fun as this president character. His whole gimmick of being a TV star to want to use the presidency as a springboard to become a movie star. Bit on the nose, but it was a clever bit of on the nose, and I just love Bob Odenkirk pretending to be the president. That was hilarious to watch. Charlize Theron has proven once again she's one of the best actresses in Hollywood, and we need to start appreciating that. She can be an action star, she can be comedic, as she is very well in this one, and she is very serious as well. She can do all these different roles, and she is brilliant. Seth Rogen is Seth Rogen. A lot of fun. I think it's the most fun I've had watching Seth Rogen since maybe Knocked Up or This Is the End. But even so, he has outperformed a little bit in this film, but is entertaining. As for Andy Serkis' character, I'll be honest, I didn't realise that was him until I googled it, and lo and behold, Andy Serkis is playing this character because he's got a lot of makeup on him. He plays a great arsehole as Andy Serkis, but I do wish Andy Serkis got more roles of just being himself. It feels like every role he is in is just, you're Andy Serkis, you got to either be CGI or you got to be heavily made up. Like, the fact that the MCU is the only thing that seems to be using him as himself is really quite surprising. But anyway, guys, my overall opinion of Long Shot is it's a lot of fun. It's definitely something I will be buying on Blu-ray. The chemistry between Charlize Theron and Seth Rogen is fantastic in this film, and I do love the drama. I loved a lot of the comedy in this. Like I said, the Jewish joke at the start, probably one of the best jokes I've seen in a long time in cinema. It's just a very nice comedy to have this year. Last year we had Game Night, this year we had Long Shot. Not as funny, but any lack of laughs I made up for with a lot of heart and some great dialogue between the characters. The chemistry is fantastic. It just lacked some originality when it came to the humour itself. But overall, guys, I'm going to have to say that Long Shot is a good cup of tea. So guys, Long Shot, what do you think? Let me know what you thought down in the comments below. And if you do like what I do on this channel, feel free to hit the like and subscribe to this channel. It would really mean a lot. And check out some of my other content somewhere on the screen now. But anyway, guys, I'm looking forward to bringing you my Detective Pikachu and La Llorona review very soon. Gonna try and speed this up a little bit. But until next time, guys, this is that Spikehead Podcast signing off.